From the long-range pestilence plan to a benevolent future, part 2. If you like this, subscribe and I'll send you more. Or YouTube will, thank God. And the gods of YouTube. And all my friends and family electronically and here in person. Some other things I wanted to say about the long-term pestilence plan. Okay. This is for all my friends in the healing communities that have been infiltrated, or who don't know how to censor out the Dark Lord's content in their feeds when they're just trying to learn the truth and they're just a little bit childish or ignorant of these factors. Well, this one particular friend of mine, I think it's Santello, he has a tendency, he has a bias because he lived there for 7 years, and he's a pretty good mystic and he's good. But, however, he serves the Dark Ones in a certain way in regard that just simply by breaking down, it's easy to make this mistake, I guess, if you like me, you break down words phonetically, but he broke down the word successful. So, simply by breaking down the phonetics of that word, he intimidated my friend into the subconscious mind control program that it's wrong to be successful. Okay, and this isn't all. This going back to India, and all the mystic traditions that, and interestingly enough, this same exact person, I would say, is a white Rastafarian. So I consider myself really blessed to have somewhat more of a balance than the average bear in my belief structure, simply having spent probably equally amounts of time studying and learning from the Buddhist Mahayana as I have from Rastafarians. Now, Rastafarians are oneness conscious and Buddhists are oneness conscious. But the Buddhist, when do you ever hear wonderful, unique songs? Well, because the ego, I should say not ego, the individual can become so suppressed in the Eastern cultures because they value equanimity so much, the equal name, that the person can become anonymous in the bliss of meditation of respecting everyone. Something we're not familiar with. I've never been to Asia, so I'm not socially familiar. But when I have friends here in Santa Cruz, California, who grew up in the Orient or even visited there and converted to Buddhism, they always treat me with, this more respect than a born-again Christian in that sense. It's usually oneness consciousness of a greater, because they don't have the dogma to mess it up. Like they got to pull me up and save me with it. Anyway, they don't have the inverted dogma, so I want to say when it's 25 degrees cooler or your rainstorm goes on for 15 days, the old belief in the low-fat diet is like believing the space fence. It's like, or if you're a human 2.0, and they convince you that your DNA is junk and that you needed this for your immunity system, this coerced thing. Well, I'm sorry, I was begging you and telling you people the whole time that, it comes from the Almighty. It doesn't come from these. But now, in this so-called bifurcation phase, which I think is, again, I believe it exists, but I don't believe, I think someone said Lucifer's contract ended, and so it's probably, so they put holes in your immunity system. They shorten our lifetime with all this stuff in many, many different ways. And all your life, if you're a Bible thumper, all your life, you are so obedient to these black magicians like the demiurge that all your life you think of is all about death. So I've always called it a death cult because all your life is about after you die, like where you're going, right? If you are an Illuminati or one of these wizards that thinks they run the world in the WEF, going to get hookers when they're out of their meetings, and you believe you can do whatever you want right now because there is no afterlife, because there is no soul. These are both erroneous beliefs that, okay, what half or majority of the world have. And this is why YouTube needs me. This is why you need me, or whoever, someone in your life needs you to play this video for them. Why? Because originally there's a soul in everyone. Now, it might have been contaminated by the dark ones to a vast majority in that person, but they're all different. Like I said, our levels of awareness are all different. I mean, it's crazy. It's insane to think you need anything hooked into you, gadgetry, that we need gadgetry. However, this platform is amazing in how much it can be healing and make our lives easier and expand our wisdom and our bliss and have fun with music. And so we have to learn to reject Satan's goals and accept God's goals. What does that mean? We have to learn to reject and just put these goals down when they're disrespectful. The New World Order, you have to learn to repent, let it go. It's wrong. Everything governed by the dark ones, it has no respect. Again, it has to be put in its place. But unity, unity. As one stand together. Unity. Evolution's going to come. But you see, you must have to learn that we're all in this together. So the transhumanism is, of course, the ultimate vampirism, and that we have to deal with now. And their slogan is "Do whatever you want now." Moral. This homosexual the other day I met in the health food store was trying to argue moral relativity, and I kind of just I told him I wanted to go back to the online, because if someone believes in moral relativity, it's just such a low belief. I couldn't figure out how to talk him out of it. It's like I wasn't even. He was the way he was sitting and flirting with me. I wasn't even going to try to talk him out of his belief. I don't believe in talking people out of their beliefs. But again, as Mark Passio has exposed, moral relativity is one of the ways that the Dark Lord, through the media, has convinced you of a bunch of bullshit. It's like, no. Like he says, there is actual right and wrong, but they don't want you to know that, You're not supposed to harm other beings, as it says, that the Buddhists say. Who I learned to know from another harmless anarchist, David James Rodriguez, who I probably learned of Mark Passio from. Every meeting at the Santa Cruz Voluntaries clubs before the Dark Lord's minions got locked him up for 2 weeks and that put an end to their club, because he was a charming speaker, and they made the judge said he couldn't do it anymore, so he moved back to Mount Shasta. But God bless him. But he used to say every meeting, you can do whatever you want, but don't hurt anyone else's body or property. The non-aggression principle. So, I mean, I would add spiritual aspects more to it, like you got to respect yourself too. But the Dark Lord's people will always try to convince you that the ends justify the means, right? So, and then I used to do this more when I was younger, trying to live out my dreams and acting a little verbally abusive or begging people to help me more than I needed, because I was trying to live out my dream. And but then my day had become abusive, because the Zeta, or my own subconscious, was as well. All that was making me become abusive, turning me into a monster. So you can't, you become the means. Wherever I get the money is going to influence me. So everything that we do and say is all connected. But like I said many times, the dark ones have put distractions inherent in all the obedient people. That the cell phones, they want to distract you, but consecration, is what I have to do. We all have to learn to devote our whole life to the Almighty. The recapitulation process, or reframing, has been really helpful to me to learn how to look at situations from the long-term view. Soul retrieval is something a lot of us are going to need. Like I said, the divine human life, the beginning of the really real, is near. What does that mean? The age of the Almighty, Christed humanity, the divine human queendom is coming soon to a theater inside of you, if you're ready, or if and when you're ready. We were trained, schooled, infiltrated by Dracos and Anunnaki to be hybridized to make us be them. Human 2.0 means no soul. This is their whole long-term goal. to just completely have you as their kind of remote control body object with no respect, no soul. They have no respect. Um, the future is for the discerning and respectful who know the means and ways are the end or endless process. Full disclosure is coming right now. Fully removing the narcissistic parasites from your personality using long processes. Well, take your time. I mean, it might take a long time or even lifetimes, but we got to do it. All fears, unless they're your instinct informing you of safety, which is the only healthy usage of fear, really, can be, or they mostly alien implants or exaggerations, false evidence appearing real. Faith and goodness is essential. Santa Cruz and UCSC really fits the criterion for the classic cult abuse, psychopathic and narcissistic abuse, indoctrination, the way that the rent they charge, through isolation, through having feminist hateful teachers. The solution is communities, like I'm doing here, even if we have to do it online. However, we can form communities that are safe and respectful in the future and very soon, even for many of you, even now. Some of my beautiful subscribers might be there already. The real work is often fun, involving discovery and relieving, and you're reclaiming parts of the real divine human life is extremely good. Okay, everything in the Dark Lord's kingdom, they teach us to take it all for granted. And like I say, one of the big keys of spirituality is to be thankful for everything. Um, the Dark Ones are extremely evil by nature, but they're like children. They need to learn to not be. Okay, the Black Suns, the Anunnaki, they oppose their official reality on us through violence, through genocide, through wars. All these times, you look in the past, psychiatry, they invented that. Um, as Don Juan said, they gave us their mind. What does that mean? Through, like again, the media, the concepts, they've given us our mind. As in the their version of the future is just like the past. It's masters and wage slaves, or wage instead of just slaves. You know, or remote control cyborg wage slaves now. You have to look outside the slave mindset for the solution. If that dominates your time, you ain't going to see the solution. You're never going to form a community with me. You're going to go back to the stuck, whatever you've been doing. The future society, my prediction is everybody will work about 3 hours a day to maintain the harmless and altruistic, respectful machines to keep not just the free energy for the elite, for everyone. The free energy machines. Um, I just was watching Greg Reese and Mark Passio talk, and Mark Passio said I'm fully welcome to use all of his work. And see, Greg Reese said you're either in love or you're lost. Okay, love consciousness or you're lost. Um, and this one who called in said, named Jensen, said reality is morality care. That's so true. Um, what is real? Well, the imagination. When you add the harmlessness aspect, if it's a harmless creation, discerning intent, objective morality, equanimity, I am not better than you. I may be more clear than you in some regards. I may be less clear than you in other regards. Okay. I recommend Eve Lorgan. Look up Eve Lorgan if you're interested in this concept I talk about a lot of everyday mental abduction, that most of us are being played by these demons every day to be in states of anxiety, and it's going to take a meditation or clearing process to get out of it. Removing of J seals. You have to notice the subtle parts of the takeover of these interdimensional parasites. It's very important. It's so helpful to come out to the forest or go to the beach, do deep breath meditation. What do you think about this? Make a comment. I have used my limitations um, to heal for good. Are they good or evil? Well, you can use them for all. If you like this, subscribe.